I am just like Jonah. Over the last 2 weeks, I've fallen in love with the book of Jonah. Jonah is famous for having run away from an assignment from God and was swallowed by a large fish. He eventually realized the error of his ways and went on to honor his mission. However, the story does not end there. It is revealed why Jonah had opted to run away from God. He was growing weary of the grace of God, the kindness and mercy that God relentlessly showed his people. Jonah had been sent to inform the people of Nineveh that God was not pleased with them and they were to be punished. The people, fearful of God, repented and made their way right in accordance to the law. God, being sovereign and merciful, forgave the people, and that made Jonah mad, and that annoyed Jonah. Talk about a relatable character in so many ways. I appreciate and I understand Jonah on many levels because, in many ways, I am Jonah. It is so frustrating to be a Christian sometimes, not because God isn't consistent, but because it never seems to go according to plan. The plan which we derive from our mortal understanding of how God should function, that in our committing to Him, we therefore must finally understand His true purpose and plan for our lives. I mean, we have committed to Him, so what else could He possibly need from us in pursuit of our goals for Him, for His kingdom? It's in these moments that the verse, His ways are not our ways, comes blaring into my thoughts. I'm beginning to realize that in all my attempts at faithfulness, in my desire for righteousness, no matter the state of my heart, I am not and cannot begin to ever think like Him and plan my steps as He does. What I do know is the nature and character of God is unchanging, and like Jonah knew it, he still found himself upset by God's will for his life. Jonah spoke to God and had God speak to him, and yet he still ran, and that is to be human. Our personal needs sometimes get the best of us, and we no longer see the practicality of fulfilling what will begin to seem like such a heavy burden, in which God does not seem to clue us into His ultimate plan. If you're a strong willed as I am, the degree of loss of control sets you into a frenzy, a suffocating feeling that has you wanting to abandon your commitment and formulate your own plan. However, like Jonah, all this self fulfilling plan does is two things. You disadvantage those around you. The fishermen in the boat with Jonah almost died. They risked their own lives trying to save Jonah. In abandoning our purpose, we put others at great risk, especially when we know what our purpose is, especially when it is presented to us. This simply highlights that we're all a part of a bigger picture. In not following through, we hinder someone else's breakthrough, someone else's growth. The second thing this plan does is it leaves you trapped, stuck in a space you don't want to be in. Granted, we may not all be swallowed by a large fish, but a life where you are fully aware that you aren't living up to your potential, where you know this is far from the best version of yourself, and what is worse, you're not even trying to be better. That life is just as bad as being stuck in a fish. Fortunately, the story does not leave us in a fish. It confirms many things, but one thing that is for sure, and this one thing is certain, and that is God's love, endless mercy and grace, God's unending faithfulness is unchanging. That despite who we are and how much of God's goodness we have experienced and yet still fail Him, He does not fail us and is willing to pick us up from where we abandoned the cause. I don't know about you, but given my Jonah like tendencies, I'm so relieved my God is endlessly faithful.